Going to bring in adjunct professor at Montclair State University, Dan Geltrude. Okay, so Dan, the United States is heading back to the bargaining table with our friends up north, Canada, now that Ottawa's dropped its controversial digital tax aimed squarely at U.S. companies. Dan, was this a smart move by Canada, or did they just kind of blink under U.S. pressure here?
Well, I think it was both. I think they blinked, which ended up being a smart move. Now, listen, this digital service tax, this thing was very punitive against U.S. tech companies. It was a 3% tax on revenue, not on profits, which means they would have had to pay it whether they were making money or not.
Wow.
Then on top of it, Alex, it was going to be retroactive back to 2022. Come on, what's that about? So that was going to be a non-starter for President Trump. So he, of course, was exerting maximum pressure to say, this is not going to happen. Canada backed down, which is a good thing. And let's see what happens on July 21st when talks are going to resume.
Yeah, Trump was like, that's not happening. And I could not have seen the previous administration be able to hold strong like that and make Canada back down the way that Trump did. But meanwhile, Robinhood is now letting EU customers trade tokenized versions of big name U.S. stocks, including Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. So these commission-free, quote-unquote, tokens track real shares, but, critics are now warning they could dodge traditional regulation. Dan, are these digital stocks a financial revolution or just kind of high-tech risk?
Well, this is a revolution. Keep in mind that tokenization allows anything, not just companies, anything to be tokenized and sold. So you could literally own a piece of anything that is tokenized. I know that sounds like a twisted theory, but it's really true. So now you have Robinhood stepping in and saying, hey, look, we're going to allow for trading to start with 24/5, ultimately trying to go to 24/7. This gives unprecedented access into the markets. The problem being here is that it is a really gray area as far as regulations go in the U.S. So we do have what I see as a clash, because you can't stop the advancement of technology, which is what tokenization is about. However, you can't have the Wild West in anything being sold and what's real and what's not.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting. We certainly need to keep an eye on this because I can, like you said, I can see some pros and I can see a lot of cons as well. But moving on, Home Depot buying specialty building products distributor GMS for a whopping $4.3 billion. So GMS actually distributes materials such as drywall, steel framing, and supplies used in commercial and residential projects. Dan, what is Home Depot's MO here with this?
Well, Home Depot is going towards not just being a retailer. They are looking at being a full-service building supplier, because they're really going after professional builders and contractors. So I think it's a really good move by Home Depot, although the stock did dip a little bit because there are going to be some short-term costs. Up front, it is going to be costly. But I think the long-term play here for Home Depot is a solid game plan, and I really anticipate that they're going to have a lot of success in this industry.
Yeah, I mean, they are just a juggernaut in that industry at this point. But finally, really quickly, so parent company Darden is looking to open up more Olive Garden and Longhorn Steakhouse restaurants. It's estimated that Darden will have 40 to 45 openings within this next year. Quickly, Dan, how will the company balance growth with rising costs, especially in such a competitive dining market?
Right. Restaurant industry, toughest business to make a go at it. I'll just say this about Darden. Strong cash flow, they have brand loyalty, and they do a good job. So that shows in their expansion.
I mean, brand loyalty, we know we all love some Olive Garden and Longhorns, that's for sure. Dan Geltrude, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Really great seeing you.
Thank you, Alex.
All right, everybody.